Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Devil's Den Hockey, and tonight we had Game 4, New Jersey Devils against the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 4, and the Hurricanes win 5-2 in regulation. The Carolina Hurricanes are now up 3-1 in the series. Is this the end? Is this the end for the Devils? Now, for those who are watching and are maybe a little bit more unfamiliar with how the playoff bracket works, which I know there are a few, if the Carolina Hurricanes win one more game, they advance and knock out the New Jersey Devils. The Devils, in order to stay alive, have to win 3 straight games against the Carolina Hurricanes without arguably their best forward in Jack Hughes, without arguably some of their best defensemen, Brendan Dillon, Luke Hughes, Kovacevic. I don't know if it's possible. I really don't know if it's possible, guys. The Devils have basically shown two sides of themselves for this entire series. In Game 1, they chose not to show up. In Game 2, they decided to do a little bit better, but it still wasn't enough. In Game 3, they come out swinging. They show us that injury or no injury, they can get the job done. And you see some of the guys that don't get a lot of praise throughout the year getting praise. Guys like Nemitz, who hasn't really had much of a season at all. Guys like Dumoulin, which everyone hated when the news came that he was being traded to the Devils. Guys like Pesce, guys like Palat, guys like even guys like Dowling, who's basically an AHL player brought up to fill in from time to time for the Devils. Guys that you don't really see get praise a whole lot. Andre Palat's gotten his fair share of bullshit thrown at him throughout the year, despite, honestly, playing very well in the playoffs. We're still seeing guys like Nico Hischier, Timo Meier, Jesper Bratt getting points in the playoffs, but we expect them to. They're our top guys. We expect them that when big games arrive, that the big guys also show up to get points. I'm also seeing, and again, if you disagree, feel free to leave it in the comments, guys like Mercer, who I was really impressed with tonight. I thought he played a really good game. I thought he put a lot of effort in. And of course, you also have guys like Markstrom, who has been a rock for the Devils all series long. Like, I don't know if there's really any big criticisms that you could give for Markstrom. There was 1 or 2 goals tonight that I think he probably should have had. But if we're talking about how he's played for the whole series, he's done everything we've wanted him to do and more. So I don't see any criticism that can be thrown Markstrom's way. So I'm going to go through this game. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details, but there's 3 things I want to talk about. Number 1, the Devils not going quiet when they, first of all, bad first period, huge second period, and then a meh third period with the obvious controversy, which we'll get to. So first and foremost, the first period has not been the Devils' good period all year long. Their first period has been trash. Complete trash. And again, every first period of this series, except for maybe Game 3 and maybe a bit of Game 2, was trash completely. And we saw that again tonight, where the Devils go down 2-0 in the first period. And we end the first period 2-0. The Devils go down and they're lifeless. There's no, as my younger sister said while watching the game with me, there's no oomph in their step. There's no, as a friend of mine also says, there's no gusto in their step. There's nothing there, and they just let themselves get walked all over. First period, they had 4 shots on net. whereas the Hurricanes had 10. There was nothing there. First goal goes in off what honestly feels like a 4-man screen. Can't blame Markstrom for that. Second goal goes in. Markstrom has to have that. Okay? Guy comes right up the left wing. He's past the face-off hash mark circles in our own end and pretty much almost does a Jack Hughes and puts it in far side just over Markstrom's shoulder. He's got to have that. And the game is 2-0. We go into the second period. And the Devils come out flying. And they do well. The game becomes 2-1. Then 3-1. Then 3-2. And suddenly, there's life. The Devils are coming out fast, hard, they're hitting, they're checking, they're doing everything they should, and they bring it to within 1 goal. And we go into the third period. It's 3-2. It's a 1-goal game. In a game that could basically decide if this series is going to 7 or if this series ends at 5. Because again, the Devils come into this game with the Hurricanes leading 2-1 in the series. If the Devils win, it becomes 2-2. And we're guaranteed 2 more games, at least Game 6, before this series ends. And we have a 2-2 series where it's really anyone's game. But if the Devils lose, Hurricanes go up 3-1 in the series, and it feels like it's all but over. We go into the third period, and the Devils, feeding off all of this second period greatness, the goals from Meier and from Hischier, and they do nothing with it. They do absolutely nothing with it. There are some shots on net, sure, but they're not quality chances. There's no rush. There's no sense of urgency. It feels like the Devils are playing a backyard game of pond hockey while the Carolina Hurricanes decide we're going to bury them here. And they score 3 goals in the third period. Svechnikov gets a hat trick. The game becomes 5-2. Empty net goal makes it 5-2. And there's no pushback. There's nothing. You got a couple of guys busting their ass. You've got Palat busting his ass, Mercer busting his ass, Hischier busting his ass, Meier busting his ass. We'll get to him in a second. But everyone else just doesn't seem to give a shit. Nothing happens. No one steps up in a big way. And the Devils lose, and they ought to lose. They deserve to lose if they're going to play this way. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs, okay? You need to be pedal to the metal for every single second you are on the ice. And if you're not going to give that, then please do us all a favor, ride the bench or go somewhere else. This is a team that wants to actively compete, who wants to make deep playoff runs. This team, as it is right now, injuries aside, is not that team. And we know they're good enough to be that team. So it sucks when they don't act like it. Now, I'm going to go over the Timo Meier controversy because everyone's been talking about it. So, I can't remember if this is in the second or the third period. I believe it's the second. It might have been the early third. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. There's a moment where where one of our guys is skating up the right side of the rink. He's charging into Carolina's end. And he sets off a really nice cross-ice pass where he slings the puck across. It goes over to the other side of Anderson. And you see Meier diving for the puck. And when I say diving, I mean literally body down, trying to go to the net to pot the puck in. Now again, for context, Timo Meier is a power forward. His whole shtick is go to the net and get the dirty goals. He also can shoot like no one's business, but he's a power forward. He's gonna go to the net. And as he goes to the net, and the other guy sends the puck over. It's a beautiful saucer cross-ice pass. It goes over. It enters Anderson's crease, the Carolina goaltender. Meier goes in, tries to pull up as he realizes he's less than a foot from Anderson. As he's driving the net, he collides into Anderson. Now, depending on the angle you look at, some say he was pushed by Svechnikov. I don't believe he was. Svechnikov does give him a shove only after he collides with Anderson. That's just my personal opinion. He collides into Anderson. I believe he's going for the puck. Some say that he intended to go after Anderson, that he was a dirty player, and that he intentionally went for the head. I don't agree. There's no evidence to suggest that was the case. The refs looked at it. They assessed a 5-minute major so that they could go over and review the play. And they came out saying not only is it not a 5-minute major, they're not going to assess a penalty. And again, you're free to disagree. You're free to agree with the refs, with what I'm saying. But if you're looking at this and you think that Timo Meier intentionally went in the net to hit Anderson, and Anderson, by the way, leaves the game injured, does not come back. He might be concussed. There's a real probability of that. But from my perspective, there's no way you look at that from all of the angles, from the left side, from the right side, from behind Meier, from in front of Meier, from all of the different angles we have, there's no evidence to suggest that Meier went into the crease and delivered a shoulder into Anderson's head. There's no evidence of it. And again, if you disagree, I encourage you, leave a comment. Tell me what you think it was. Try to be respectful. But the most disgusting thing, and again, I'm not going to generalize, but there were a lot of Hurricanes fans, I'm not saying all, because I don't want to generalize. I've met my fair share of good Canes fans doing these videos, doing live streams where I've talked to Canes fans, and some of them are very nice. But you always have that one subsection of any given fandom saying that Meier needs to leave the ice on a stretcher, sending death threats to Meier, saying that we need to go after Meier and Markstrom in the next game and take them out. This is unhinged. This is unacceptable behavior. You want to disagree with a call? Fine. You want to lay a guy out with a clean hit? Fine. You want to go in and smash the guy against the boards within the rules to send a message? Fine. You want to drop the gloves and fight a guy? Fine. You want to chirp him for the rest of the game? Fine. But this unhinged behavior, where people are calling for either bounties, death threats, saying you want people to be sent to the hospital because you disagree with something, is unhinged. And I encourage people, if you see this on social media, call this stuff out. Because if you don't, it's gonna keep happening. And to be clear, if there is any Devils fan out there on my channel, in my live streams, or on social media, and I see people do this from the Devils' perspective, I have no time for you. I have no time for you. We're sports fans. We're not supposed to be mentally unhinged. Okay? It can't happen. So, that's the end of my little rant for the Meier thing. We have Game 5 on Tuesday night. I think it's 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what to expect. We could see the Devils come out like they did in Game 3 and win. We could see Game 1 Devils. We could see Game 2 and Game 4 Devils. Who knows? Either way, I'm going to be cheering for the Devils no matter what. If the Devils win, wonderful. I get more Devils hockey. I get to make more videos for you guys. If they lose, well, just means they didn't want it enough. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Adios.